There we go. I fixed it.
Hardpoint identified. It's too close. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Tied for the lead. Let's go. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint locked down. Fight harder. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Be careful. Enemy swarm activated. Enemy's advanced UAV is online. Hardpoint is ours.
My fucking teammates suck.
Tied for the lead. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Identified. Capture the objective. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Enemy UAV spotted. It's too close. Fight harder. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint is ours. Hostiles have the hard point. Hard point locked down.
Let's go!
Hard point identified. Capture the objective. Hard point lost. Enemy airstrike incoming. Be careful. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. We tied for the lead. Hardpoint contested.
Man.
We lost the lead. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint is ours. It's too close. Fight harder. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. We've taken the lead. Counter UAV is up. Good work. Hardpoint identified. UAV online. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Tied for the lead. We lost the lead. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Capture the objective.
Target down. Reloading. Cover me.
Pick it up, team. Hardpoint locked down.
Come on. Just kill the guy now.
Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Capture the objective.
Target down.
Defeated. Don't let this happen again. for the lead. Hardpoint is ours.
Tango down.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
What a puss.
Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested.
Need backup.
Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound. Hardpoint lost. Heads up, team. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective.
Changing mag.
Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint is ours.
Reloading. Cover me.
Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint locked down.
Enemy!
Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Be advised, hostile hardpoint goes outbound. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hostile Predator missile inbound. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint is ours. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint locked down. Hunter-killer drone deployed. Hardpoint identified. Capture the objective. Enemy Shock RC is coming. Hardpoint is ours.
That's crazy. I thought my teammate had that.
Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint lost. Capture the objective. Hardpoint is ours. Enemy UAV spotted. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Enemy shock RC is coming. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint contested.
Enemy down.
Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint contested. Hardpoint lost. Hardpoint locked down. Capture the objective. Keep on them. We're winning this one. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is ours. Hardpoint lost.
Why are you watching the back?
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Throwing smoke grenade.
Hardpoint locked down. Hardpoint contested. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Enemy shock RC is coming. It's up team. Enemy UAV spotted. Enemy UAV spotted. Capture the objective. Be advised. Hostile killer drone inbound. Heads up. Enemy UAV spotted. Hardpoint is ours. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Be advised. Hostile hunter. Enemy shock RC is coming. Enemy UAV spotted. Hostile hunter-killer drone inbound. Friendly airstrike incoming. Be advised. Hostile Predator missile inbound.
Dude. Teammates fucking suck.
Enemy in sight!
Priority tasking failure. Return to base.
God damn. See, he's alive yet? Oh, it is. Guess we'll do it anyways. Fuck it.
This Luminosity matchup definitely going to be their biggest yet.
See, I actually thought that one team that could go and make a difference was going to be Smart Omega, but it just seemed like the confidence of this team just steamrolled out of control, and that's where Inco Gaming can really shine, knowing very well the weaknesses of their team and just really make it shine.
Well, we've got ourselves our first matchup of the day. It is our championship bracket finals, Inco Stalwart versus Luminosity. We saw 2 players from one team and 2 players from the other team, both in the top 5 of KDA. Shout out to Pab Zera, who's had himself a heck of a tournament over at Skade. And they are playing for that top side. You win this, you're at minimum $280,000 and prime position for the $700,000 for first place. Again, our tournament prizing brought to you by HyperX. The $1,700,000 prize pool has been just such a great boon for all of these players. And for you at home, you have the opportunity to win some super cool in-game swag by watching in the client. If you're able to go ahead and tune in during the broadcast in-game, you'll get free rewards just by watching. The longer you watch, the better the rewards.
Man, if you haven't got it yet, you had 3 days to get this. I haven't yet because we're so busy here on the desk, but I'm going to be making sure I'm going to set my alarm or tell Bobby to remind me to get these in-game viewership rewards. We have a ton of them, and plus, this is my favorite color scheme so far.
No question about it. Absolutely beautiful. Like we said, it is going to be just me getting absolutely chased around by Iskaras all day long. First stream back from all this Stage 5 casting, so it'll be terrifying, but it's beautiful.
All right, well, we've set the prize pool, we set the rewards for our friends at home, and we've set the table for our championship bracket. All that's left is prediction time. Who you got?
I asked Beef Bobby for predictions coming into this.
That's cheating.
It's cheating? Oh, my bad.
All right, well, who you got?
I've got to lean toward Inco right now. They seem to be the most dominant. I know that teams are going to be drawing up game plans for Lucasen. Nobody's come remotely close to finding a successful strategy so far. I think he leads this team to victory.
Beef Mommy?
Man, this is hard. I'm always a big fan of a lower bracket run, so I might have to go with Tribe because they had so much resilience going through the lower bracket, and now they are in a little bit of a pickle. Not a situation that you don't really expect Tribe to be in, but it's just a matter of who's going to meet them in the lower bracket, because I think if Luminosity meets them down there, I think Luminosity might win it. But if it's going to be Inco, I think they might actually win Inco and possibly have an NA championship.
All right, well, let's get this day underway with our winner bracket finals. And to do that, let's send it on over to our casters, Shift and Proper.
Thank you there, friends. How about it? From potential Cinderellas to maybe championship favorites. The Zinco Gaming Squad is looking pretty untouchable at the moment, but the same can be said about Luminosity. They've had really clean runs throughout just their groups, but also here so far in the upper bracket. Maybe the only blemish comes down to what we get out of control from those guys.
You're absolutely right to talk about control when it comes down to Luminosity. Is the only game mode out of the three that they have truly struggled with.
Yeah.
But hey, if you can end up closing things out with just, map 1, 2, and 4, then control might not matter all too much. As you take a look, just the overall, the map losses really not too bad at all, tied as far as wins are concerned. And the respawn KD, well, it's just a little bit better for Minko, but I think it's kind of inflated because of Lucas.
That's definitely the case. I mean, when you throw somebody up there that's nearly a 2.0, that number's going to go up just a little bit. But you saw the map win losses right there for a moment. The thing that we really harp on here is Luminosity. Out of those 3 losses, 2 of them came to Control. So we'll kind of throw it out in the air. Summit would be map number 3, Control. Haven't seen much of that this weekend, so we'll keep kind of our finger on that while we look over the first 2 maps. Standoff, Hardpoint, Raid, Search, and Destroy. Where's your headspace at, Robert?
My headspace right now, when it comes down to it, is quite literally just around that Raid, Search, and Destroy. The only reason being is because the vetoes kind of go against what Inco are mostly comfortable on. The Hacienda taken away. Take off Hardpoint, not even in question whatsoever. So the Raid, Search, and Destroy, I think is going to be quite telling where these 2 teams stand up against each other. Got to get warm here on the standoff Hardpoint first.
We have yet to see the Zinco team play on standoff Hardpoint, but you expect to still continually have not just sniper rifles maybe in play, but a hefty amount of SKSs as we start to rotate towards those more open hardpoints. But how about LG? Blur getting involved with some long-range ability, and it's going to be 3 straight eliminations for Washi as well. Luminosity off to a hot start.
There he goes. SKS trendsetter in the mix. Finds 3 in a row because, of course, he did. He won about halfway through its tenure here on the opening set. And, I mean, all said is that Inco are still in a superior position. Yeah, they're getting traded out, but so long as you can dictate the pace in the middle of the map, you're going to set yourself up wonderfully for the rotation.
Early streaks as well for Washi. Hunter Killer Drone already spent. Nades on the way in. Break attempt coming from Inco Gaming. Numbers prevail as they look to get onto the hardpoint. Contest on the way forward, and that will work out nicely. Blur is going to be the player to really keep an eye out for LG when it comes to trying to lock down this SKS, and he's clean with it so far. A couple of great eliminations as he finds his fist before dropping.
Yes, I mean, hey, Bobby ended up talking about it as well, is that you have to have a strategy of some kind to deal with the long-range poke and prod effect that is the SKS. Kill feed starting to erupt in blue, but the push that's coming through on the backside of Brown is actually quite influential. It's setting up a pinch to come through out of Bakery.
I don't think Inco expected that there was going to be hit from the south side of the map. Now the spawns will give them that information, but it's just too late. Solo, 3 in a row. LG on the break, up to 40 points. Inco looking to try to contest this as soon as humanly possible from mostly the gas station side. There is one long flank out of Noel, but he drops. So now the whole hit from Inco has to come from the front, and the kills are at least decent enough to neutralize the time.
Yeah, big kills actually coming through out of the gas station. You lose those gunfights, you could potentially be in a spawn trap for the next 2 respawns. So working your way back in for 30 seconds could be very, very good. And you see it right there on your screen yet again. Lucasen, 1.96, mostly just with the SKS, has been an absolute trendsetter, already up to 11 kills.
And the thing that we really have to keep our eye on with these setups, Rinko, once they get the rotation in their favor, is where do they throw their double SKSs at times. Lucasen likely to lock down one lane. You expect Dan to kind of swap back and forth, maybe pulling out a second SKS if necessary to lock down the opposite. For LG, though, already pinned up. Blur, easy kill on the dad, and that will mean that as the old time will expire, it's pretty much all Luminosity set up for P2.
Yeah, Luminosity still having those close spawns. You have one player that's actually watching the long cross, but Solo band here over in the courtyard, able to lock down 2. Knows that number 3 is just outside. Washi will be there for the elimination, and it is just coming up all wonderfully for LG at the beginning here at 3.
I think everyone who played up against LG in this map from yesterday is saying, let's not make sure Band goes on that huge 9-3 onto this hard point. He was floating, flying, stinging all over the place. 70-42 the current tally. Inco looking for a break attempt, but LG quick on the read. Noel on the interior, has to pretty much do it all himself, and nearly does, but the claw comes out for Washi. Only finds 1 elimination. LG still with numbers to try to get back in, and so it will be. The switchblade from Band, another double.
Here, fire out. Band locking things down here for the scrap time. Gonna find themselves 4 in a row, and that should be the last bit of scrap time here secured. Here on P3, it was about a pretty successful 40 to about 3. Comparatively to where Inco are located at, going all the way through the rotation. You still have one more player to worry about. That's going to be Washi. Big trade come all the way through, but space provided for LG to threaten this early.
And trends really have been LG better on the initial 20 seconds so far, whether that's from the rotational wins for their gunfights or mostly locking and holding down to their initial setup. Same thing here. The full break, right as soon as the hard point opens up, comes from LG. Reinforcements on the way, and you can see the read. They know for a fact that Inco is going to be hitting from the left-hand side. Tread missile called in. Purifier also in the mix. Kills favor that of Luminosity, but Inco still have a chance to contest from the front.
There's still a very defining reason why Luminosity are the #1 hardpoint team with a plus 118 differential, 7-0 through Worlds so far, but Inco need to showcase why they are number 2. Breaking back in with the Holger in hand is Frozen, just trying to meet them at the gates here at 4.
Yeah, both teams largely have not been contested in their hardpoints until likely now they meet each other. Inco with a substantial break off of their second attempt. Now looking to lock in every bit of this scrap time. 13 seconds to fight for it. LG are still trying to put a little bit of pressure on towards this. And to be fair, this could be mostly in an effort to make sure there's not a safe exit for Inco. But spawn for number 5 in blue is Crozen. He's going to have a chance to try to win out Hotel while Lucasen is going to go to a very bold claw call, and it works out. Double comes through, spams down the hard point, but it's going to be Inco who have the ability to jump in the hill first.
Still able to find that space, because like you were talking about, Luminosity at the end of the first set, we're trying to set themselves up for an abundance of exits as Lucasen continue to doing Lucasen things, even swaps to the pocket SKS, and is able to find 3 in a row. Just the guy cannot be stopped, but there needs to be more follow-up on it. Able to get yourself set up here inside P1, slowly closing in on the lead that Luminosity have.
Now it's on to Noel Dad. Can they work their way back in towards the SMGs to try to lock this down? Rafa also in the mix, but only for a short time. LG, 3 quick eliminations. Right back into the hard point. Band locking down the back door towards Hotel, and it's LG dominating the kill feed and a chance to continue to grow a cushion here on their score.
20 seconds remaining here inside P1. Double-edged sword coming through for Luminosity. Basically calling for players like Solo to continuously find these zoning effects. Has one player inside of Bakery. We'll be able to get some help there from Blur. Now you need to start pushing all the way forward, especially with Inco spawning out.
It's going to be a bit of a 50-50 battle over towards New. Rafa able to slide in. Crozen assisting towards the old time, but it really is on to Rafa. What can he do as an individual without any sort of help? here as soon as the hard point opens up. LG members all over the place. Noel quickly to come back in. Tagged up, but can provide a little bit of assistance, but no. It's LG with the quick eliminations, and as the hard point opens, it's LG securing more time.
And look at the split spawns that are actually coming through from Inco. You have 2 players that spawn up over by the gas station. The other ones are spawning over in the courtyard outside the bakery. But no one was reading where Ban was located at outside of L. So much damage was able to be found because Inco were just one-dimensionally trying to sprint into the hard point to try to help things out. This is such a substantial setup that LG have.
Operators are used here for LG. They're trying to put this game a bit out of reach. Inco looking to contest. Oh, and it's a long-range shot from Washington. 3 from the backside of gas station, making sure no one else can contest from the south side of the map. And Inco a bit paused up here all of a sudden. Looking to play for rotation. This is critical time that they're missing out on. They would essentially now have to counter with a full 60 of their own.
Yep, you would need a full 60 here at Grandma's, and the setup isn't exactly strong when you already have players that are moving their way over by Grandma's tank. You have Predator missiles being called in by Blur, Envy finds 2, and now you're spawning out of your Inco, not the setup that you want ahead of 3.
Rafa, last one left, just flat out overwhelmed. Luminosity again, dominate on rotation, holding the spawns, holding the early time of the hard point, and they will break past the 200-point threshold. Operators out for solo. It will expire, only finding a couple of eliminations, but that will still be fine. One more deep. He gets caught swapping between the weapons as the charge runs out, but again, the streaks now start to fly on forward. Hunter Killer Jones, prep missiles, doesn't seem to make a difference what it is, just throw it at them, and Inco are completely stuffed without even getting in until maybe Dad here. Okay, hold on. Double with the Purifier, contesting the time, waiting for the regen. That's going to be 3 as Dad will clear the point out for Inco.
Got the Dad cap on and everything. Purifier needs to continuously lock things down here, 25 seconds, but you look at just the overall score. This is where we start having the conversation for leaders advantage. It's 219 to 111. Now Luminosity, they don't have to break here. They could just set up for new, and that's exactly what they're doing to try to close it out in the upcoming hill.
No operators for them, though, to try to hold on to this setup. On the opposite side, you look towards players like Crozet. 24 eliminations, a chance to possibly be the catalyst for the break with an operator ready for go for him. Now the play. Hard point expires over at Grandma's. Now we head over towards Bakery. Dad through the warehouse, looking good. This will set up a bit of a route. Looking to play for spawns, but Envy denies. And Luminosity, a really solid read on where this Inco hit is coming from as they get to 225.
Able to clear away the bottom left side of the map, but you need to break this sooner rather than later. Blur able to get themselves a Purifier, just holding the stairs.
Good read on the first player up top. Noel denied any entry from the high ground. Now it's just down to flooding from the front, and this is dangerous, but the shutdown comes through. The claw from Crozet, that'll allow them entry. LG still trying to fight back. Envy for the first, holding down the trigger, but can't secure the second. And Inco have an extra life for now. Banned! Oh, on the entry. Finds it easy. Clean up. A good double kill from him and Blur, and that may be the winning moment here in map number 1. Inco, yeah, they got 32 from Lucasen, but it is not nearly enough as LG dominate.
Little pop off on the stage as well. Luminosity gotta be feeling themselves off of that, and it's gotta be talked about one more time. There is a reason why throughout the entirety of this tournament, Allen, they are the #1 hardpoint team. 118-point positive differential coming into this matchup as a whole. And you got to see exactly why. The fundamentals on point, setups, being able to break anything that Inco was throwing at them. It was just an all-star affair that really felt like at the end of P2 in the first set of hard points, they had the resource advantage, and they let Inco feel it.
Look, I mean, you got 32 out of Lucasen, but we wanted to see how NA was going to deal with the SKS presence, and Blur says, I don't care where you're from, I could still hang with you as well. 35 and 18, he was doing a lot of work with the SKS as well throughout the majority of it. So almost a 1-for-1 between the two, but the big difference at the top of that leaderboard, how about the hard point time that Blur is able to find compared to Lucasen throughout that map?
And it's legitimately just that, right? Although Lucasen was able to find themselves 32 eliminations, they were never the ones that were set up inside the hard point, trying to find themselves angles of opportunity to open up opportunities for the rest of their teammates to then get inside the hard point. But once Inco got in, they couldn't stay alive. Luminosity, on the other hand, were sharing hard point time through all 5 of their members.
And even at this moment, if you kind of look across the scoreboard, at the top, it's pretty still tight, 114-80. You think, okay, pretty close game. But you kind of compare the SMGs for both teams. Noel's only on 12 and actually did not finish off all that well. We're on the other side. You've got 20 from Solo, 22 from Band. The SMG gameplay was great from Luminosity, and that's what you needed to see from Inco. What we were used to seeing from Inco was, yeah, Lucasen clears the way, SMGs follow up. there was not much follow-up this time through for Inco on this map mode combo.
No, there really wasn't. It was a war on two different fronts, right? You were finding so much of that long-range pressure, and we talked about this a lot yesterday between all of us, analysts and casters included, is that this is what Call of Duty has to offer, that if the backline is offering that much space provided for you, the SMGs need to be able to capitalize on the damage in the space that is then found. It was just that much more exceptional coming from Luminosity here on Standoff Map 1.
Yeah, that's definitely something we've got to keep in mind if we get to a map 4, which I think we assume we will probably see at least one map go the way of Inco. Not that that's guaranteed, though. Nothing is guaranteed. We've learned very rapidly here at World Championships. But I will say, now looking at a raid search and destroy, and knowing how Luminosity like to play their search and destroy, Inco will have to have good presence from their subs, and you need it now because they will for sure need it when we get to the summit control for map 3.
It's just really tough to gauge, isn't it? Because, I mean, now what you're looking at is essentially the number 1 and number 2 when it comes down to search and destroy.
Yeah.
Luminosity only having that one loss, but the differential is still respectable. Inco, on the other hand, just absolutely letting everybody have it, undefeated in search and destroy through the entirety of the tournament. All of that needs to be exemplified here. And when you're thinking about raid, you can actually make this feel like a very, very long map, especially when you're thinking about the smoke execute that can come over by basketball court. The double SKS setup can really shut that down.
100%. And then on top of that, just to kind of set up a bit of marination towards map number 3, neither team has seen a summit control so far this weekend. Although we do assume, based on the records and the results over the course of the last couple of days, that Inco will hold an advantage in the control compared to their counterparts on the other side of the stage of Luminosity. But this is an interesting setup for the search and destroy, because you never want to be in a position where you have to reverse sweep. Not to sit there and say that this is a must-win for Inco, because the rest of the map set does look pretty good for them, based on what they've played so far. But this right here, this map establishes, are the SMGs going to build some confidence up? Because for Inco, they were really missing out on that map number 1, and you cannot have that absent when we eventually get to that control, as we had just previously mentioned. So we jump on into it. Inco will start on the attack. Trophies very aggressively looking to get in towards mid-map. This will be allotted towards them. Wash is the only one to contest, has a scope out, and Noel will get first blood. That's actually kitchen control as well for the side of Inco.
This is actually something that we saw Inco take as far as an adaptation is concerned in their search and destroys late last night, was that they were just bringing out more submachine guns and just really just denying so much space by way of aggression early in these rounds.
Number 4 in Blur, the only defender at A, but he's going to be getting help from Band on a long route already through bedroom, and nobody from Inco is expecting this. Patience, it's a virtue after all. Band able to secure a nice 3-win, and how about Blur? From inside the site, completely stuck, comes away with 2, and that likely wins the round for LG, just down to Crozen.
I love that coming out of Blur. SKS in hand and all. Last player alive inside of money, won't be able to stay alive for long, and you know, if you want to talk recency here, especially for Luminosity, again, such a small sample pool because they've just been tearing through everybody. They have that at least one time spent on this map, 7-4 versus Stamina.
Yeah.
And they looked very, very convincing on that, understanding their timings and all, as you got to see Band on that previous play. Full-on rush coming through here today.
2 defenders, though, will be here. Solo working with Blur this time. Once again, the trophies go down. Rafa, shoulders being thrown. Lucasen finds the first on the Solo. Slide cancel on in, and Blur cannot hold against the 3 members of Inco that get on. Quick plant also on the way.
Gonna have to retake this on 3 different fronts, but open staircase is being looked at from Crozen. You still have Washi to deal with, but if you're Envy, you have to wait for this push coming down spiral staircase for some help.
Envy finds one to the backside. If he can get the second, maybe there is a chance to come back through, but now it's just down to Washi. This would be a 1v4, finds the first rather rapidly, but the second one comes from behind, and Noel, no problem. Coloring surprise. I thought for sure that Inco was going to try to feel things out. I mean, the double SKS sniper setup, what we kind of did in the past was, let's feel out this defense, maybe get a pick and then capitalize, but that's not the case at all. This is all gas pedal early on.
It kind of feels just shades of some of their matches that we ended up seeing yesterday, doesn't it? Where they did start off with snipers, SKSs, and then they adapted for more SMGs. It seems very early on that Inco want to take the aggression early and try to meet the pace that they know Luminosity are going to bring.
Well, G, we'll get a little bit of map control early, but again, this is what we were expecting. Luca's in, scouting things out, swap into the sniper rifle this round to work with Crows, and Washington could pick up from money window. And careful, Solo is actually pushed up in towards mid. Assistance from Washi as well, doesn't necessarily need it. Dad not there for the trade. And just like that, LG significant control over the map, and more so, they've kind of got Inco trapped down inside the pool.
Yeah, they sure do. And even though Luminosity, they have that one number advantage, this is the right call. You just send at least Solo, maybe to try to go take a look at Kitchen, maybe take a peek and a gander over by the A bomb, but you have B on lock. You 100% play for the retake here.
Rafa with the bomb would be the one that would have to kind of tell his teammates, yeah, we're ready to go. Which, by the way, it is double sniper SKS. So trying to clear out any of these sites would be a hard task. But they will stack together. Like you mentioned, LG going to give up this safe site in order to likely just play for full retake. With mid control, laundry control, you think it's going to be good for 30 seconds. And LG are getting the idea that, okay, they're not coming to B. Let's get ourselves in a better position to try to contest this bomb plant. Here comes Rafa forward. Trophy system goes down. LG stacked up towards the staircase. First sniper shot misses. Envy gets the opener. Envy gets the follow-up. Just down to Crozin. 1v4. He's stuck inside a Tiki with a lack of ingredients. And how about the left fist from Band? He's been all smiles all weekend, so why not try to throw something out early?
Sitting there having a little bit of a chuckle in that 1v multiple situation. Might as well slide into Tiki and let the Dukes out, man. That was fantastic stuff coming through from Luminosity. Again, very reserved, I would say. They found those 2 picks. They gave up the space, and they played for the retake. Executed wonderfully.
That's a strong left hand.
Yeah, if you think about it. And it's a weighted shot.
Shots of an SKS or one left hook?
Mike Tyson would have words.
Would, for sure. Again, forward mid-map control for LG this time. It's a double stack, though. Very different look for them defensively with Band working alongside Washi to try to control pillars. The other defender towards B is Envy, up towards Laundry, now playing towards the backside of ring. So this is a very far forward advanced setup towards B, whereas the defenders at A are more playing response and react.
You're starting to see some of those transitions actually coming through from the weapons itself from Inko. Again, a little bit more SMG eccentric. Will be traded out 1 for 1 we
so
go.
good.
But Washi going to be able to find yet another pick again. And they know that they have them trapped, but somehow, some way, the bomb still gets pushed up by Rafa.
Solo with the shotgun!
No.
Going to be able to find yet another pick again. And they know that they have them trapped, but somehow, some way, the bomb still gets pushed up by Rafa.
Solo with the shotgun!
Oh. Refresh, refresh.
Going to be able to find yet another pick again. And they know that they have them trapped, but somehow, some way, the bomb still gets pushed up by Rafa.
Solo with the shotgun! And LG looking like they're just gonna run it down mid.
I mean, why not? Hey, you and I casted a lot of Search and Destroy. You know, sometimes one of the best strategies in Search and Destroy when you know that you're just better than the opponent is just to gun them. I'm not saying that it's a discrete skill difference, but as far as teamwork is concerned, LG are definitely showing better.
And the thing is, when you start to find success while just running at your opponent, it completely foils any kind of a game plan that you may have had, because you have to start to hold off, respond to any forward pushes, and then set and execute play. That all told, though, bomb is going to be very rapidly planted here at A. LG quick to try to contest. Dad, money window. It's a tough gunfight versus Band. Just jumping, peeking, seeing if he can keep him at bay. Solo the first one to drop in the engagement. Onus towards LG to try to find a response. They get one from the front. Band, naded, will be pushed off just a moment, but LG still clearance through the double stairs. All this post plant is set up deep towards bedroom, hoping that Crozen's got an angle at the bomb. LG, 18 seconds to go. Have to make a move, and you have to hit a snipe. Luca's in close. Band able to track down almost one. Blur, last one left. 2 players tight and not enough time, you would think, to get the kill nor hop on for a defuse, and that will indeed be the case. Well, the 2-4 half.
1 sniper, 1 SKS, 3 SMGs. I want to see more of this out of Inko, honestly. It is being able to call the bluff of LG, who all went in for that ring control. And Inko was just like, hey, we can get aggressive too. Just immediately bull rush over towards A, get the free plant, and then the post plant was just absolutely sublime, keeping this within 2.
It's another moment, though, at the halfway point where you look up towards the scoreboard and you say, who's going to help out Lucasen? 7 eliminations. LG under the cover of smoke, looking to make a play towards A, but this is all a bit of a fake. No full commitment to get to the bomb on at the moment. Washi with control. Tiki Band trying to zone off the money window, but as he gets tagged, then he'll back off and just play this from basketball as the bottom line.
Push up that if you're banned? No. Good call. We got players inside Tiki. Gonna be watching that money window is banned as well. Make sure that the flank stays secured.
Blur's playing deep in towards bedroom, Washington Tiki with the scope. Numbers for Inko. Crozen checking, playing lifeguard over the pool. And LG have not given up anything. Good trade comes through. Inko are now in towards the site. But how do you clear out these players that are in and around Tiki? That's the bigger question here. Blur playing down by the beach chairs. Flank out of band. Communicated for Lukasin. Rafa's also moved forward. He's cleared out Tiki. This is looking good for the retake. Now you got a hop. Blur's they got this position. The snipe has to hit. And it does. Is there time though for the defuse? I do not believe so. It's going to be close. No, not going to happen. And LG go to 5.
That retake was so quick and it was executed so well. Every single line of sight being looked at and being able to find the eliminations as quick as they did. And it's just extra maybe 2-3 seconds to be able to find those eliminations. Otherwise, everything was looking pretty darn stellar. 5-2. Luminosity nades over the top to basketball court again. Lukasin is under pressure, but Noel will find first blood.
That's a big pick because he's pushed up aggressively alongside a couple other Inko members. But how about this little alert from Blur? Holding it towards spawn, and it works out for the double. Mid-map, though, Inko still retain numbers. 3v2 with that elimination from Dad.
Envy wisely enough waiting for Blur's help to come all the way back across the pool side. Some shots are going to be thrown out there, but I mean, Dad, Lukasin, and Crozian, they're making the right call here. You just play inside jungle, inside a kitchen, you play for the retake.
Yeah, LG do not have the weaponry to try to pick apart at long range. This Kilo will be fine to spray down players, but it's not an SKS, that's for sure. Dad will let you know about it. Even wants the second challenge. It's bold, but it works out. Collects the Skull of Envy through the woodwork. And Inko still hanging around.
Really did feel like that Blur's play all the way. Overall aggression that was coming through the middle of the map for Inko, but it's not going to be the case at all. Keeping their heads above water here, keeping it within 2. Still rushing over towards A. This LG team really loves it, and it seems that Inko are starting to get an idea of what they can possibly do to counter it.
Lukasin, though, flash stunned, concussed up. Noel laying prone, looking for a little bit of help. First shot misses. That will be enough for Washington to get elimination, and the turn back for Band. Collects the double. And Inko are going to have to play retake in a 3v5 with no ground at all to work with. But Crozian may have poked a hole in this post plant with the first blood going his way onto Envy. Clean out towards muddy window. Rafa looking to make a play. No, instead he's actually going to join his teammates. They're going to try to full flood this from that back staircase. Dangerous prospect. Band still holding, waiting for any sort of comm, any sort of point of contact. Solo's hitting a bit of a round. Crozian, whoa, what a shot that is. A little slide through, Crozian gets more, but now Solo on the flank. He's going to finish off the double. And now map point for Luminosity.
It was almost about to look like what it did a few rounds ago, that when Inko were able to get that retake, they knew exactly where all the positions were located at. The only difference was with one player inside a cube, but one thing you can never count out is your flank coming back through kitchen. 6-3. More aggression in the middle of the map defensively, and LG have thrown a wrench into the system.
Yeah, Inko have just completely bamboozled LG on this setup. LG's only gut check call would be to try to force their way over towards B for a quick plant, but there are still nades available for Inko. How about this? Right over the top. Band does clear out some of the play through mid. Nade does not quite land, so Envy able to stick for the plant. And as we go to a 4v4, there is a steep advantage for LG in this post plant, set up in and around ring.
One-dimensional retake starting to manifest itself here for Inko. They're all essentially on the backside of Laundry. Nobody coming through mid-map.
Nades over the top, trying to get over towards driveway. Band holding close. Has he been stunned? Someone's got to make a move. This is taking a lot of time if you're Inko. Initial trade comes out. They do a lot of clearance. Of course, it's Lukasin to get the double. Only one more to find. It's Blur deep. He's got a nade still, though. This could kill off time, but as he gets finished off, it will not make much of a difference. The defuse will come through. And again, Inko still fighting their way in.
Yeah, required retake, obviously. Otherwise, they would have been down 0-2. And again, that's not where you want to be versus this Luminosity team. But hey, when the retakes are on and they're coming through one-dimensional like that, this is where Inko absolutely thrive. Their teamwork, communication, team shots, and everything else included is what is required for them to be able to make that play happen. A little bit of a bait play starting to happen here. You have Solo push up through open staircase.
And Solo, he's trying to change the route. I think he's hoping that he's going to get some help from his teammates through mid. on the Zig cut, but it does not happen. Envy also drops. Blur up top inside a bedroom. Would have to probably get 2 here. Does well to find the first. Still doable. Lots of time for LG. And you know, if you're Inco, you really can't take too much further of a step towards this offensive spawn, so they'll back down and just play their normal setup with numbers advantage.
Van might be the player to watch out for, but he's going to have to get through Noel first and throws a shoulder through Zig. Very tough gunfight to find for yourself. Damage is going to be traded off, but the rest of their team is surely on the way through Zig.
You have to hope that Washi hits a shot here. If you're going to cross through mid or head over towards B, Washi has to connect. That's your only way back to a 3v3 when you know for a fact Lucasen and Crozin are going to have some hard scoped angles likely to defend against any of these pushes.
Look at the read. Immediately rotating all the way to the backside of Laundry, and they have guessed correctly.
Band is pushed up towards Laundry window, though. Blur tagged up, trophy systems go down. And man, he may be able to hit a route right here. Inco up the top. Oh, Dan, great read. Band still finishes the kill, but Noel cleans things up, attributing the assist to his teammate. And now it's just on to Washi. He's found a kilo to work with. Also has the bomb. He's going to stick for the plant to try to put the clock on his side.
Noel got the sound cue, immediately slides through the staircase. We'll get that elimination. 2 rounds in a row now for Inco, starting to find their footing here on Raid Search and Destroy, and that's coming through with shutting down any aggression antics that LG are looking for in the middle of the map. They've shut down the A push successfully. LG, though, they haven't done it in a few rounds. Here it comes again.
Full flood over towards A. Noel down, trophy systems, denying utility from both sides. Lucasen stunned up beyond recognition. Noel drops, Lucasen would need to find one here, not going to be able to provide. And Luminosity are going to get the plant. How do you contest it if you're Inco? How about Crozin?
The bomb has been planted.
Gets the numbers more to manageable positions as he gets a second to a 3v3. The long flank from Rafa. No one's watching this from LG. Rafa makes himself activated. Washi cannot connect with the quick scope. LG trying to force their way up the double stairs. And Crozin will get 4 out of 5, sending us to overtime.
It was a 4-2 half, and Inco, as gritty as they come, are going to be able to force out overtime, just shutting down Luminosity's pushes, their rotations, their reads, everything at an all-time high here for Inco. And it's by way of adapting with even just weaponry. We asked for Lucasen to be able to get some help. Crozin delivers. Is up to 12. Dad also up to 10.
So big from Crozin on a lot of those defensive rounds. Nades over the middle of the map through tree. Inco still collect first blood solo drops.
Inco playing this very, very patiently. They know they have numbers, and they're still waiting to be able to find some more information. Envy is one shot, no stim right now. And Inco are more than aware of it, but they're not capitalizing on it.
No, not yet. They got the information that they needed. Maybe that's enough to pull the defense. They may be able to think about trying to threaten over towards Tiki number 5 in blue. Washi over towards Money Window, maybe the one to contest this, but now the call from Inco is to try to force this over in towards the B site. Bomb making its move in. Rafa waiting for a little bit of assistance, and those shots coming forward may have dissuaded them from actually committing to this. There's still plenty of time if they want to track back over towards A, and Washi, very heads-up play, has made that rotation. And look at the proactivity. LG are already calling that Inco are going to want to make a full wrap, but they may have guessed incorrectly.
They haven't seen a soul.
Oh, or maybe they guessed correctly.
But the timing is not favorable. They all ended up going back to check over towards A, but they were exhausted so much time, 40 seconds remaining on the clock, and Inco might have been able to find the time to get over here.
I don't know. Washi and Blur have the weapons to try to hold off against this. It's on to number 4. In blue, Blur. SKS gets a read, sees the player and says, that's enough for me to back away. You have a long flank on the way from Band. You also have Washi contesting the map, and Inco want to try to isolate him, and he catches him on the reload. And now you can immediately swing back through pillars. It's going to be Blur on the rotation. Does he catch anybody? No! It's Lucasen, connects! And the bomb will be planted. Steep advantage for Inco here in the first overtime, but Band at least keeps the number relatively level between our two squads.
Bomb going down for Rafa here at B. Post plant, set up for Laundry. You also have Arc Control, and Rafa just swinging around rings, trying to see where these players are coming from.
Band is rapidly on the flank. Envy would have to contest through pillars. Noel's waiting for this. Maybe he's heard a footstep. Yeah, looks that way. Yeah, and Rafa's seen him. This play not concealed anymore at all. And Noel gets out of dodge. So good just to kill a little bit of extra time. Confirms that LG are double stacked. Envy up high, Band down low. First one connects for Envy with the SKS. Dad, next one up. Gets not just one, but Noel finishes the second. Advantage to Inco.
Insane scenes. coming through for Inco. Again, adapt, overcome. Really utilizing all of those 2 minutes on the game clock to their utmost advantage. They found that first blood, and then they just held the line from red. They never pushed that much further forward. Here come LG again, though, offensively.
How about Inco, though? 3-man stack through water stairs. They're going to catch this LG on rotation. The kills, they're coming rapidly. It's looking clean from Inco. Last one to grab. It's going to be number 2 in Blur. He's stuck inside a Tiki. The troops are reinforced, and a comeback of the ages in map number 2 for Inco to tie us up at 1.
It was a 4-2 half. That favoring of Luminosity. Inco come all the way back, force the overtime, and it ends in an 8-6. They just needed to force the overtime, and they won the next 2 consecutively. You cannot write this any better for Inco. Their adaptations and understanding of what the enemy is doing continuously throughout the entirety of the map, their reads on point, playing with the clock, fundamentally, everything just so good coming through from this Inco stalwart team. The double SKS, it wasn't working out, so you ended up pulling out an SKS and a sniper, getting some SMGs present through the middle of the map, and everything just came up so much better for him.
3 members of 13 eliminations for Inco. Notably, that is all of the long-range players in the search and destroy, but I will say Noel and Rafa had a couple of very key moments with those subs. In particular, the quick route that we saw around the back of that LG play a couple of rounds previous towards the basketball bomb site, really shutting down LG. And then how many times did we see them defensively double stack subs towards water stairs and shut down LG continuously from that defensive half? That's, again, like you mentioned, the word adaptation is easy, but that's just great resilience as well from the subs who had a very poor first map.
And it was a great shutdown, too. Especially offensively, Luminosity were finding way too much value with trying to push over towards the AS&D aggressively. And it was mostly Solo coming through the middle of the map through open staircase. So yeah, you have to answer that back with 2 SMGs coming through the middle of the map to be able to shut things down as we watch some of these highlights on the screen.
And initially, you start to think Washi may just take over this entire map. He was finding so many key kills, not just early, but also clutching up from the defensive side on some of these retake moments. I mean, he's getting good information, but this combo of Solo and Envy kind of on the retake with the rifles, and then the sniper rifle long-range gameplay from Blur and Washi looked near unstoppable until we swapped the sides. Because I'm telling you, Washi is hitting different today. Like we saw instances of this Washi yesterday, but if he continues to play like this, teams could be in steep, significant trouble when it comes to relying on long-range gameplay, because he was not missing.
Yeah, it definitely does say something, doesn't it? Especially with like sniper gameplay going up against the SKS presence that is this Inco gaming roster. And it's just kind of insane scenes when you're thinking about it, because again, we have to pose the question, how do you deal with the SKS presence? Well, Washi just needs to turn up and try to meet them over at the range as well. I mean, Blur even also trying to help things out. But at the end, I think the word resilience does really kind of stick with it, is that Inco just continuously throwing more and more adaptations, understanding the tendencies of where Luminosity were on the map. You're going to need all of that plus some more. You did it here on the search.
And the thing about it, you know, we could throw out a number of different synonyms towards talking about adaptation and stuff like that, but that is a lot of trust.
Yeah.
When you're down 6-2 essentially, and you're not finding any success off of your game plan from the offensive side, to sit there and say, we're fine. Our defensive game plan's sound. Trust it. Trust each other. Let's not let this get out of control. That says a lot about the discipline of this squad, and one of the reasons why they were so clean, not just in groups, but also up until this point in the upper side of the bracket. So now we have guaranteed ourselves a firing range hard point, but we've kind of been touching and dancing around this summit control for a while. We have not seen a lot of summit control, even less from these 2 squads overall. Biggest 2 things for me. Number 1, operator usage needs to be key.
Yeah.
How are we pulling out things like claws and purifiers? And then on top of that, just a little bit, again, leaning on towards the Inco stalwart side. Can the subs continue to perform? Because we saw great play out of band from Luminosity in map number 1.
Now, Summit also could be the calling, because if there's one thing that we could definitely take away from our 2 Chinese teams here on Summit anything, was some shotgun plays as well. The best hardpoint team is Luminosity, but the biggest issue is that they're 8th place in control.
Yeah.
This is where Inco can absolutely take advantage of coming off of a map 2 barn burner and going in towards Summit, keeping them at an SKS's reach. being able to capitalize with SMGs up close. You've got to be feeling pretty darn good if you're the entire team of Inco.
Yeah, a mere 50% win rate so far, 2-2 on control for LG. It's been their biggest vulnerability, for whatever that might mean, because they've been polished everywhere else for the most part.
There.
But I think you look at this, if you had that information, if you're Inco, you look at how do we beat this LG team? How do we get to the World Championship Finals from the upper side of the bracket with a major advantage? You have to think that map 3 should be ours. So that has to be kind of step number 1, which is weird to say because it's actually step number 3. But you win the control. That's now the swing map mode combo. It gives you a little bit of luxury because you're going to guarantee you get your slum search and destroy that I believe was their selection. And the firing range hardpoint, let's not lie. As much as we like to assume that that's going to be largely controlled by sub gameplay, we did see, I believe, Inco and Skate also play this firing range hardpoint. And I will say their ability to lock down lanes, trusting the SKS, well, until this point, it's been unparalleled.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it almost feels like that firing range was quite literally made for this Inco team when you're thinking about it. Middle of the map, SKS.
Yeah.
Through America, SKS.
Sure.
You can end up also controlling all of Banana with an SKS if you really think about it. I don't think that they've actually played
they haven't.
firing hardpoint, but we have seen them on firing range at one point or another. I want to say either through scrims or some other time. I definitely do remember they could have honestly been Skate. I don't know. I mean, I've been seeing a lot of SKS gameplay out of these LATAM guys.
Blurs together real fast.
But I want to go back and I want to highlight something that we were starting to talk about as far as Inco are concerned, because it's something that you and I were talking about when they were going up against Omega, and that is their teamwork and their trust. And it was also alluded to in some of the highlight videos that we do have in interviews as well, and even talking to these guys as well. The trust and communication for these guys is just so clear, especially when you're sitting there dissecting the mini-map as well, just watching how they're moving with one another, how they're communicating with one another. It's just, you have to have that trust, especially here so late in a top 3 situation here at Worlds.
100% agree with you. And interestingly enough, you know, I'm kind of going back towards Inco's Stage 4 statistics. They actually didn't play any firing range 10 either.
That's interesting.
The thing that I guess what I'm kind of assuming at this point is watching them, how they kind of set up for a map like Takeoff that has, again, kind of the same instance where you have a lot of long lanes. Maybe not long rotate, long lanes. That's where you expect that players like Lucas are really going to shine and really going to pop. So for LG, it comes down to trying to reduce the impact in these next 2 maps of that SKS, which has been a very easy blanket statement for us to say because everyone's trying to figure that out. Even against Skate, that was an issue. So as much as we kind of keep talking about Inco Gaming, I think you still have to look at least this map as being favored for them, just due to the fact that Luminosity's weakest mode has been control, and their ability to go map 3, map 4 wins here are still pretty high, even though firing range you assume would be a lot more SMG heavy.
Oh, totally. I mean, it's hard not to argue with statistics, isn't it? I mean, it's everything that we've seen so far throughout Worlds, and looking at the map set again, it's just daunting, because albeit the summit control favoring towards Inco, that firing range in slums could honestly escape you very, very quickly if you are Inco. You really just need to continue to rely on what's been working so well for you, and that's all just based around the SKS. Set your SMGs up for the utmost amount of success. It worked for 6 rounds in a row. Be able to bring back that last search and destroy. Gotta have it here. All right.
LG, quick to try to push not just into, but through the B site. Blur, good first blood. Inco trying to stack on towards A. It's Mixie. It's scrappy, but it's going to work out for them. Clock has stopped. First tick of progress looking good. Band on the flank. Good to try to deny some of the reinforcements, but the first tick still gets locked in regardless.
Nice opening. Nonetheless, only lost 4 lives coming through for Inco, but space still needs to be found here. Second segment, very much so on the way. Crozen able to find some eliminations. Look at the push that's also coming through from well, but completely unbeknownst to Inco. All Luminosity wanted to come back through the north side.
Really well done, and just good distraction play out of Solo, pulling out the R9. We saw a lot of our Eastern teams try to do the exact same thing with these shotguns, and that's actually dissuaded Inco from even playing on the interior. A little bit more of a lane to play with. Progress at B starting to come, but largely mitigated by the kills coming out of Luminosity. And this is just good recovery from LG. Second floor control. Lucasen just sitting here waiting to see if he can find a free kill on the rotation.
I love that call. I don't know if you ended up seeing that. Noel tried to push all the way back over back blue and was trying to at least start a little bit of a spawn trap, trying to split up some of these defenders. But just as soon as it was a great start, the life lead has been mitigated down to 2. Space being provided for Luminosity, but Inko trying to find themselves some nade points, trying to find some different points of angles as well. Crozen down low with the SKS, gonna be able to find an opening.
That's a big round as well.
Yes, it is.
Crozen could use that as an opportunity to either stop the clock at A, make some more progress, or possibly just completely cut off the reinforcements. But LG, good double coming out of Band as well as from Envy, as he actually makes it 3 straight in a row. Crozen's play mitigated largely just because LG flat out shooting better.
Just straight up shooting better. Luminosity coming out of the gates, absolutely swinging. 10 seconds remaining here. Only a single segment is all that you need over on A if you are Inko to extend the game clock, but it's not coming easily.
And there's just no route to get there, none at all. Washi assisting. Again, the long-range pressure from LG has matched up with Inko 100% perfectly. Clock will expire with just 2 ticks of progress. The lives were starting to get tight, but Luminosity, after the opening break-off, pretty much denied any re-entry towards A at all.
Really did feel like that third segment was going to come through over at A, but I mean, there was just so much focus that was coming through from Inko through the snow path that there wasn't a whole lot of focus over by Catwalk, which, hey, you guessed it, that is actually one of the best power positions here on Summit.
Luminosity, good first bloods, high ground control. Inko, they're just trying to keep it mixy down low, and they're getting absolutely picked apart. So LG with numbers. Dan can only do so much. And with that, only one member from LG will drop the round towards the A site. They've got a player deep inside of the Inko spawn, and this is punishing on multiple facets as LG really letting Inko have it at the moment.
Yep, this is exactly what Envy was able to find success with, what Noel was attempting to do. Look at all the space that is coming through for Luminosity. 26 plays on against 22. The second segment already on its way, and already up top is Band with the claw, letting them have it, finds himself too.
Chance to snowball right here for LG. We'll take a second to listen in to see how exactly they may finish off this offensive round.
Flank that, flank that, flank that.
Side outside A door.
30 bucks, 30 bucks.
Come on, come on.
That's good. Stay on that beat, don't give
One green, one green.
Green, two green. One shot green.
The vortex loop.
There's 2 green, 2 green.
Hey, help us cap, help us cap. I'm flash, I'm flash.
They're all green. All of them are
Hey,
green.
help us cap, come on now. Fucking
One more green, one more green, one more green.
fucking shit.
Don't peek blur, don't peek blur, don't peek blur.
No.
I got flash right now. Alright, he's gonna push right here. I'm gonna double flash main, I'm double flashing main. One more, one shot, two. They're flash. Go in. One more, Washi, one more.
I died. One more on hill, one more on hill.
Look alive.
Not the most polite comms you've ever heard, but hey, they're working out pretty well. 16 playing up against 8. They nearly got it done on the second attempt. Again, that snowball, gravity vortex, claws, purifiers nearly allowed them to just string together both zones.
You don't have to be nice, it's top 3. You just got to get it done by all means necessary. Second segment already completed here at B. 13 playing up against 8. Just under 2 minutes as well. But Crozen able to at least take down Washi. Look at all the space that Inko have been able to find.
This is looking solid, Rafa. Purifier out. Continues to pack a punch over through the LG spawn, but it is a 10 versus 5. And LG are looking at that as their win condition. Yeah, not give anything away. The counter stack from Inko. Purifier is out. Dad on the way in. If you can line up a couple, it'd be massive. Only gets one, but Lucasen following behind it. The trade favors that of Inko. Need to clean the rest of this up, and as Envy drops, it's down to Rafa. Gets the double. A 5v3. And Noel is scouting them out through spawn. Now a 4v3. LG a bit stuck. Plenty of time. No reason to get crazy. You could literally play this as an S&D round from here on out.
And you don't have Washi. Washi's the one with 2 streaks plus an operator. Noel playing down low. Crozen is here as well, able to slide, get himself another 2-piece. Now you got a 2v2 situation here, and it is just all
1v1. Rafa against Blur for the round. 47 seconds, and Blur is trying to call his bluff by playing the low ground with the R9. Rafa not seeing him yet, but finds him from the high ground, and the 1v1 goes the way of Inko.
It's just so massive, just the implications that you're pulling in operators when you're down considerably for lives. You just want to make sure that it's worth it. Dad pulling out that purifier, able to find some space, communicating and where everybody might be on the map. Inko, stay alive, get themselves a defensive round of their own.
But they will have to face up against Streaks and an operator from Washi relatively early. Inko stacking up towards A. Once again, they're focused primarily towards the lower ground. But LG, nice little response. Keep it relatively even. And with these kills, they've actually regained a lot of this second floor. Rafa caught with a nade out. That's not going to work out. But actually, pardon me, that was a 100-killer drone, so he secures his own trade. Solo taking his place by repositioning back towards that same high ground. First tick of progress being depleted. Dad not able to hold on towards the zone.
Just playing inside of Grace, just waiting for some help here. You got Noel that's up top on the catwalk, or down low, excuse me. So Dad's going to go ahead and join them. Maybe try to win this battle on 2 different fronts. And you can even see off the respawn as well. Inko have no idea where to go. They're constantly trying to get themselves snowpack control. Noel needs to be the one to get activated. He's only able to find one.
Good help, though, coming from the rest of his teammates. Trades will still allow Inko to try to get their way back in. Blur holding, making sure his teammates can stay safe from afar. And Gravity Vortex gun is spent by Blur. Works out for 3 eliminations in a row for him. Noel stopping the clock over towards B. Pred missile called in. That'll find Crows in as Noel continues to kind of go back and forth between the B zone and the lower portions of this A connector. LG in the meantime, though, still picking up our kills. 23 playing up against 16. And Luminosity had to feel like this is going to be a pretty comfortable defensive win for them. Pending Noel to do something unbelievable.
You came back from a life deficit defensively. So just do it on an offense, Forehead. 20 seconds remaining here, 22 playing up against 14. Not a whole lot of space. Why is that? Because, I mean, Luminosity are just cycling players out. They're not trying to push into their spawn at all. They're playing this very, very well defensively.
Clean stuff. Have only dropped 8 total lives in the span of what has been a very, very quick defense.
Yeah. Convincing, I'd say.
Yeah, that'll work.
Only losing 8 lives along the way. No segments of progression given up whatsoever. You barely had to dip into any one of their resources as well. And, I mean, Inko, they were already playing on their back foot nonetheless. You're coming into this one with 3 operators, a pocket full of Streak, pocket full of posies maybe. I don't even know what the saying might even be. All I can tell you is that Lucasen is struggling. 7 eliminations for both them and Noel. Rafa's the one that's been stepping up, and Crows is going to open this up with the claw to try to get themselves an early numbers advantage.
Immediately shut down. Luminosity have met them with 2 claws of their own. Dad trying to find the shutdowns wherever they possibly can. Pred missile called in. It gets down 2. LG, even with those eliminations, have not found a way to get towards either of these 2 sites. They're trying to put the hurt on with the lives. Dad up top nearly able to lock things down for Inko defensively. But now recovery will have to happen. Nasty heady from Ban. Takes down Rafa for his 2nd elimination. And now LG say it's time to go. 2nd tick of progress on the way. 2 operators being spent. Inko nowhere to be found. Do they have to give this up? And it looks like we may have gotten our call. Thing about it is,